Thanks for tuning in, everybody. This is S&M Radio. I am Shannon, and joining me again is Mark after a month-long hiatus. How are you doing today,
Hey there.
Mark?
I'm doing great. I'm ready to go.
Well, I'm not sure if I'm so ready to go, but we'll give it a shot anyway.
Yes, we will.
Tonight we're going to talk about the 1983 Canadian horror movie Curtains.
The classic Canadian horror movie, Curtains.
You mispronounced crap, but we'll go with whatever you...
Yeah, this will be a fun one tonight, I think.
Yeah, I think for you guys listening, you guys are bound to witness a good old-fashioned cage match, S&M Radio, the old, what was it, Siskel and Ebert, when they would disagree on movies and get into an argument.
So, yeah, we already know we both have differing opinions on this film, so we're going to totally do a whole, the Siskel and Ebert treatment here, for sure. Curtains, 1983. So I was thinking, because probably nobody's even heard of this movie. This is one of those, you have to be a pretty diehard horror fan to even come across this film. So how about I read the IMDb, just a little quick synopsis of it.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
So yeah,
got to be better than the movie.
Well, the synopsis here, whoever wrote this, it's anonymous, so we can't give anybody credit. But the storyline is basically this: Samantha Sherwood has worked with the well-known director Jonathan Stryker on all his major films. She naturally assumes she has been given the title role in his latest venture, Audra. He tells her that she needs to do some background research on the part, so arranges to have her committed to an asylum, as Audra is a former psychiatric patient. She goes along with this, not realizing that he intends to leave her there indefinitely and audition 6 young women of various professions for the part instead. She finally manages to escape and returns to the spooky old mansion where the auditions are taking place. But who is causing the disappearances of the young hopefuls? Is it Samantha, Stryker, or is it one of the actresses willing to kill for the coveted part? Just who is the killer behind the old hag mask? Now, I thought that's very well written, and that really sums up the story we're about to talk about.
Yeah, we could just go ahead and stop it there. All right, good night, folks.
So you really dislike this movie, huh?
So the movie starts, I mean, you give pretty much the whole gist of the movie. So this thing starts off at the beginning with this Samantha character and Stryker, and then, you know, she's going to be in this movie, and then they go to this asylum to have her admitted, but they don't really explain it too well in the movie. And then they go to get her admitted, and then all she does is like charge this doctor at this asylum, and they're like, lock her up. There's like no explanation, just okay, she's gone. And then,
yeah.
And then they don't ever like, I mean, she comes back later in the movie, but then they don't ever like explain that she's locked up, or, you know, how did she get out, or how did she escape? She just like reappears later in the movie, and you're like, what? Okay.
Right. Yeah, she's all of a sudden back. Yeah, the whole asylum scene. So like at the beginning of the film, I mean, we've got the very beginning, we see that, you know, this is Samantha Egger is the actress, and she's playing Samantha Sherwood in the film, and she's an actress, and she's auditioning for a role, and there's this film or play called Audra, and Jonathan Stryker, who's played by John Vernon, and he's the director, and this is like supposedly this big part, and, you know, it's a very coveted role, and he's promising her the part, and I guess the character is insane, so he gets her to agree to get locked up in an insane asylum, and so she kind of plays, like you said, she charges the doctor, and that's what they basically establishes why she's insane, and then they lock her up. And I thought, what did you think of the insane asylum scenes with all the crazy women?
Yeah, the whole I just can't get past the whole thing. Like, oh, she charged me. She must be insane. Let's lock her up. I mean, in
Yeah.
real life, she would just maybe got an assault charge. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then they move from that, and then they get into, later on they're starting these auditions and stuff, and then which, in my honest opinion, if they would have stuck with the storyline, it would have been better. But this weird, creepy doll comes out of nowhere.
The doll, yes.
And so this doll is in. There's she's in like 2 scenes. So she's appears in the one person's like bedroom or whatever, and then there's another scene where she's like on the road, and like the doll was kind of creepy, but then the doll was gone. It wasn't really in the movie anymore. And so, I mean, if they would have, what I think would have been cool is if they would have kept this, like, before Chucky ever came along and had this doll in the story, and then it comes out later, like, the doll was the killer. That would have been cool.
Yeah, they didn't use the doll too much. It was kind of a strange convenience. I don't know. But yeah, originally, I guess it's in that one of the hopeful actresses' homes. She never makes it to the auditions.
Yeah, she's the one that... Yeah, and that's one of the other things, too. So, like, she was killed before she even ever made it to the audition. And, like, the doll was on the side of the road, and, how did the killer know that? I mean, it was... And the whole thing was never explained. The doll was never explained. It was really weird.
It was weird. And actually, her death... I think she was probably one of the first deaths, and this whole film is basically about there's somebody stalking and killing all the actresses who are auditioning for the role of Audra. And her death was kind of strange, but right before it, there's that really bizarre scene with the guy putting on the ski mask and sneaking into her bedroom.
Oh,
and
yeah, when they're role-playing. The
role play, yeah. That was incredibly stupid. That part right there was just ridiculous. And, he's like, I don't know what was going on with that.
I feel that you're coming over to my side, Mark.
For that, I will. I'm coming over for that beginning part there. Because it's basically like a very strange... So she's getting ready in her apartment, and then there's somebody watching her, and he's crawling up like a ladder into her window, and then he gets in there, and then he starts attacking her, and you're thinking he's about to rape her, and it turns out that oh no, it's just her boyfriend, and this is the kind of the thing they do just for shits and giggles. So yeah, it was kind of, that part right there kind of lost me.
Yeah, there was for the most part there wasn't as far as, because the feeling that I got when you watch this movie was that it started out as one thing, and then they said, hey, you know what? It's the early 80s. We should turn this into a slasher movie. So let's do that. And so then it seemed like it was really pieced together. None of the kills were like really even like cool or even really scary at all. Maybe they were scary in 1983. I don't know. There was one scene where there was like the head in the toilet. That was cool. Yeah. But I mean, other than that, there really wasn't too much of the movie where you're like, oh yeah, it's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, this movie is actually, this is one of those films that just recently became kind of a like a cult classic, and it was actually, it's been out of print, and I think it was like what was it? I have it written down here somewhere. Something like it was over 30 years that this thing had been off, hadn't been available until just recently, and I think it was July 29th of 2014. So this year it was finally released. Officially on Blu-ray. It had been released previously on a few compilation discs, but that was just kind of basically VHS burns, so the quality was pretty terrible.
Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, well, I'm hearing this Blu-ray is great. Now, I haven't seen this yet, and this is what is it? Synapse Films, which they're known to kind of grab all these weird cult films and clean them up and do a great job re-releasing them and finding extras and all that. And actually, I was kind of following this company on Facebook, Synapse Films, and they were kind of, every time there was like something going on with curtains, they would post something like, they'd show like a still of the film and how clean they got it and compared to the old VHS rip. And but they had said that apparently the studio that had stored the negatives of this film, they had like cans and cans of additional footage that they just tossed out. They got rid of because it was all on their, like, they had it all like file, like everything was labeled and filed, and so there should have been these cans of film, but apparently the studio, it cost too much to store it, so they got rid of it. So we'll never see some of the extras that could have been. We can only imagine what was on there, but I guess on this Synapse Blu-ray they have tons of stuff. They do have a makings of. They have some audio interviews, the trailer, the commentaries with some of the stars. So they got some cool stuff on there, but again, there's a lot of stuff that has been lost forever.
Yeah, you hear stories of that all the time, where these old, these old film companies just have the stuff in storage and then toss it, and then comes out a couple of years later that we could have made money off of that.
Yeah, actually, the big one right now is which my favorite film, John Carpenter's original Halloween. Apparently, so a private. I think I sent you a link to this. A private collector bought some footage, or like they have canned footage, and it hasn't been ripped to DVD or anything, and he's not revealing anything. He's not showing anything, but it's got tons of stuff on it that's never been seen before. And I guess Malik Akkad is trying to. They were doing a little wheeling and dealing, but they haven't come up with an agreement yet. And that supposedly has an alternate ending where Michael Myers dies, which is that's sort of the not what is it the hidden thing right now that they're talking about on like all the Michael Myers websites and all that. So, but the fans have yet to see it. But yeah, with curtains, there's a lot of stuff that's gone now forever. But at least we got this Blu-ray now, which is in my my wish list. So hopefully I'll get this one of these days.
Yeah, I wonder then, like with it, going back to that Halloween thing real quick, I wonder if we'll ever see that. But so he dies at the end. So he dies at the end differently than he died at the end of the original movie?
Well, the original, he disappears. He's gone. And I think apparently the original shot was that he's dead, and they just he's there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's
and
right.
There's
He's right. Yeah, he is gone. Right.
And there's a few other shots too, like different angles, and like the scene where where Laurie looks out the window and sees him standing by the laundry drying on the laundry curtain. Clothes. What are they called? I can't even remember. What are those things called again? Clotheslines, right?
Yeah.
It's been that long. I actually had one of those in my childhood home, but I can't remember what they're called. But yeah, there's an alternate angle of that.
I have one in my basement.
Do you?
And we still have the poles outside. The line's not up anymore. Yeah, I wonder if you can even buy curtain lines anymore. Like if you can like go to the store and buy like the actual line that before it was always like just like a string, but like the one downstairs, it looks like you ever buy those or ever had to buy those dog chains that are like the wire that are wrapped in the plastic coating?
Oh yeah.
That's what the one in our basement looks like.
Oh, okay.
So we just use it for like actually to hang clothes on, like with hangers.
Okay.
But enough of that. That's really boring.
Yeah, we use our We use our electrical conduit in the basement to do that with.
So I own this movie on one of those compilation DVDs that you were talking about. I should have grabbed that before we started recording. I got it at Walmart, and I would assume you could. Well, maybe not anymore because it's not Halloween time anymore. Probably you might have to wait till next Halloween. You could probably go on Amazon and find them. But it's one of these. The ones that I have, it's one of these ones where it's like 5 discs, and each disc has like 4 movies on it or something.
Yeah, I have one too, and
Yeah.
I think you and I have different discs though.
Yeah, mine's got. Mine actually has. Oddly enough, it actually has a bunch of full moon movies on it.
Okay.
And then it had like one disc is like all full moon movies, and then there's the curtains one, and then there's a couple other like weird like zombie ones. I watched a couple of them. Most of them are crap.
I have the one on mine. I have the original Prom Night. It has H2O, which is kind of strange that that's on there, and one of those later Hellraiser movies, and Puppet Master's on there too.
Oh, so
cool.
yeah. So another full moon movie,
and then some bizarre Dracula film, I think.
Yeah,
amongst
it's
others.
so weird. Like when they do those compilation discs like that they just like pick like sometimes they'll be like, they have the ones now. Like if you go to well, again, you probably can't find it now, but like over Halloween season, they had like the ones where it was like 2 different discs, and then it was like every Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
Right.
Or like a couple of years ago, they had this thing because I actually have copies of these on DVD where it's like 2 or 3 different discs, and it's like every Halloween movie. But then, yeah, like you said, then they'll have ones that'd be like vampire themed or zombie themed, and it'd be like it's not even like the original movie. It's like the 8th movie in the series, and then there's the 4th movie in some other series, and then there's some weird other thing in there. And usually they're movies the other ones, like sometimes like the ones like that, like Hellraiser or H2O, like people have probably heard of those, but then it'd be like Zombies from Hell.
Oh yeah, it's the weirdest crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a compilation I do want to get my hands on that I read. One of those weird. I'm into really weird websites, so there's another one that just strange nostalgic stuff, and there's this one called Dinosaur Dracula that I go to, and he's just kind of like a retro kid. He's about our age, probably a little younger, but he always talks about one that's got Chopping Block, or I'm sorry, not Chopping Block, the Chopping Mall, Ghoulies 3, I think, which is the one where they go to college, and a couple others, and it's like the must-have of these compilations. So I have to grab that one. But so we both had watched it. I mean, basically what we watched was the DVD rip, and I have this one. I'm sorry, the VHS rip. I have this one in the compilation, and I also have a bootleg with the old classic cover art on it. Should we talk about the cover art, you think?
Well, people will be able to see the cover art in the artwork for the episode. So yeah, I mean, it's just a picture of I'm assuming that's supposed to be the killer, and the doll.
Yeah,
like
her mask, I think.
In theater curtains.
Yeah, I remember seeing that at the video stores. Do you remember 4-Star Video?
I remember 4-Star Video. I do not remember ever seeing this movie at the video store.
Okay. Yeah, I do remember the cover. I do remember seeing that cover. And that kind of goes into the whole thing of why we're even talking about this movie today. This was one of those movies that nobody saw it in the theater when it came out. It was extremely troubled production. There was a whole thing with where this film actually got put on the shelf. There was a clash between the film's directors, and what happened was you had one director guy who wanted to do an art house thriller, the original guy, and then then the studios really wanted a commercial slasher, because this is, 83? This is when the slasher craze was just starting to really get going. So they filmed the movie, and then they put it on the shelf, and they fire the director, put it on the shelf, and then they get somebody else to finish the job. So it's terribly cut, terribly edited, terribly put together, and that's what the film actually suffers quite a bit because of that.
Yeah, and that whole time frame too. You got to the one thing for those of you that are listening, the one of like the four of you that listen, if you remember that time frame, and me and you, Mark, can attest to this because we've seen some shithole movies from that era.
Yes, we did.
This was in the early '80s, where that was what you had to do. You had to put a killer movie out there. We got to have a slasher movie. It's got to be a slasher movie.
Yes.
So let's make a movie about anything and everything. So there was New Year's Day or New Year's Eve? There's April Fool's Day. There's you remember that lovely movie that we watched, Happy Birthday to Me. All
there
these,
you go. Yep.
yeah, just movies about everything. And this is really like you had said, this was, and you can kind of tell that from watching this movie that it started out as one thing and was supposed to go in this one direction, and then it really is just really forced into going, nope, we're going to make a slasher movie.
Yes.
And it really comes across.
And just to give you an idea of how terribly this thing was edited. Now, again, I'm going to say that I have positive feelings towards this film, but the editing is terrible. And here's an example. There's a scene in there where there's this character who's always riding a snowmobile. Well, originally he was to die, and then his snowmobile was to crash into the window of the house where they're doing this casting call and all of that. That was the original cut. Well, in order they because of the convoluted editing process, there's a scene where a couple are shot. They fall out of a window, and then they basically, the way it's edited, it's supposed to look like they fall out of a window and into a window, when actually the scene of them, the window, something crashing into the window is that snowmobile scene, and they just cut it before you actually notice that it's a snowmobile. So yeah, that's the kind of editing we're talking about. It's last minute. Let's toss everything together, make this thing work. This thing's a mess. But this is one of those films that it flopped in the theaters, but thanks to cable and late night, horror shows and all that stuff, this film was put on repeatedly. So people that are, you and I's age, basically grew up watching snippets of this as a kid, and then remembered it, and then went back to go find it, and that's how it got its cult status. And it was gone because it hadn't been released officially for 30 years. So that's kind of why we're talking about it, really.
Yeah, we're talking about it because you wanted to talk about it. I just wanted to put that out there. Okay, so we've talked about how crappy it is, but underneath all of this filth, grime, and scum, there is a gem of a horror movie. You agree? No.
You don't see it.
No, and for whatever reason, I have watched this movie 3 or 4 times, like in the past, 2 years, because I watched. Actually, I take that because I think if you go on, I think this might be one of the ones that's on Facebook, not in Facebook, sorry, on YouTube. If you search Curtains, Curtains full movie, I think the whole thing is on YouTube.
Is it? Okay.
It might be. And it's probably the same quality of as the DVD is, because the DVD is horrible quality. But yeah, this is one of those movies where, if it was, redone, it could potentially have a good storyline and be put together a little bit better. But the 1983 version, in my opinion, sucks donkey balls.
Well, it's pretty terrible. It's pretty terrible, but I think it does have now. The scene of this film, the pivotal scene in this movie that everybody talks about when you think of Curtains, and I know that there's not. When I say everybody, I'm probably talking about like 15 people, but the scene with the on the frozen pond or frozen lake. That's the scene that everybody remembers, and it's when one of the characters, she's one of the actresses who's hoping to get the part. She goes out. She's an ice skater. She goes out and is skating out on a frozen lake, and guess what she finds? Oh, yep, she finds the doll, buried in a snowbank. And as she's pulling the doll out, she looks behind her, and there, coming at her in slow motion, is the killer. And the killer, I don't know if we described the killer that well, but it's basically a person wearing an old hag mask. So it's this really creepy old, like an old lady mask. And the killer's carrying a sickle and is coming at her with it. And that scene right there is the scene that, a lot of kids were destroyed, mentally destroyed when they saw that, and then they had to go to bed and they remember that scene. And that's the scene that when they're like, hey, what's that movie about the ice skating girl and then the old lady mask killer coming at her, and oh, it's curtains. That's always the one that's what they reference it by.
So the four people that you have ever witnessed talking about this movie, that's what they're talking about.
Well, the only people I know personally that have seen this movie are you and my wife.
Okay.
And I'm still having to say I'm sorry for forcing her to watch that.
Oh, wow.
Actually, we watched that. It's kind of cool that, it's funny because this is like the perfect winter movie for me. Like, there's a season for every horror movie, obviously Halloween for Halloween, and,
Oh,
Friday
do you have this like your, is this your like Christmas movie or something?
This is my January movie.
Your January, okay.
Yeah, this is my post-Christmas movie because it's kind of that dead season after Christmas and until you're waiting for spring, and the film is basically all these actresses are cooped up in a house in the wintertime, and it's there's snow, so it's actually kind of cool that there's actually snow outside my window today when we're doing this. And the day that I watched this with my wife, it was that couple of years back, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, when the big blizzard hit. When was it? Maybe that was 4 years ago, and everybody was basically trapped inside.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day at work. Not just horror movies, but in general, because now there's so many, and it's always been this way too. But now with social media and all this other stuff, that everybody has those movies that they watch on certain days of the year.
Yeah.
So whether it's Groundhog's Day on Groundhog's Day, but like Christmas, it's Die Hard or Die Hard 2, or the one I learned about this year is Batman Returns. Evidently, is a Christmas movie. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, it's got kind of a Christmassy feel to it. I forgot about that.
And then you have The Crow on. You watch that on Devil's Night, the day before Halloween. These movies throughout the year. Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving.
I haven't put that into my regimen yet.
That's a campy movie.
I will have to check that out. Yeah, this one's definitely my winter film. Next month it'll be My Bloody Valentine with February. But yeah, summertime is the Jason movies because of the camp.
So next month we'll have to take this off the air too. So this will be the second episode of the new year. And then next month we'll have to maybe we could take a poll. So next month, because it is February, and I've already been thinking about this. So next month is Valentine's Day, but next month also there is a Friday the 13th.
Ooh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, we won't get any response on this because we never do. We've done 18 freaking giveaways on the show, and we gave away one thing out of a technicality. But so let's do this. Let's do a poll. for and we have a couple weeks, so this will come. This won't come out. We're recording it now. Today is actually the 14th of January, but it won't actually come out for about another week or so. So it'll come out on the 22nd, I think, of January. So then we'll have a couple of weeks after that before we put out the first episode of February. And maybe we could go two ways about this, because we put out 2 episodes every month. So maybe we put out Friday the 13th episode and My Bloody Valentine episode.
I think that'd be great.
But you guys that are listening, let us know. Send us an email. Send us a voicemail. Just don't call us while we're recording the show. Or just, leave a comment on our Facebook page. Friday the 13th or My Bloody Valentine next year, or next month, I should say. Which one would you guys rather? And we have a couple other movies up our sleeves too, so we have plenty of movies. I don't know about you, Mark, but lately I've gotten it, and like you said, it's that time of year, so almost not every day, but close to every day. When it comes time, kids go to bed. Wife's sitting on the couch reading her book or whatever. Throw a movie on the laptop or something. So
yeah, you do a lot of movie watching on your laptop, don't you?
Yeah. Yep.
See that now? That's the whole thing. I might have to go that route, because it's my wife is sort of starting to take full control of the TV, and it's really destroyed my movie watching privileges. And like horror movies have been pretty much banned at this point, because she's seen so many of them and refuses to see anymore. So I might have to just go the laptop route. I'll have to go get a new laptop.
Yeah, that's what.
That's a good idea.
We actually got new laptops over Christmas, so I just got it's almost like tablet size, but it's a laptop. But yeah, okay. On there, I don't know what you have, but we have Netflix, we have Amazon Prime, but then too, you gotta watch stuff on. There's a couple different websites you can watch. The other thing too is we got a Roku, however you pronounce it, over vacation.
Yeah, we have one of those in my son's room.
Oh, okay. So there's actually horror channels on there too that has like free horror movies.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah,
very cool.
Some of them are campy old ones, but anyway. Yeah, let us know what you guys think. We'll probably end up doing them both anyway, because it's our show, so we'll do what we want to do.
Oh, there you go. Absolutely.
So, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Any final words there, Mark?
Yeah, a few final words. Just a little thing here. I recommend you go out right now to Amazon.com and go pick up a used copy of the Blu-ray of Curtains for $11.85, which is a damn good deal. And I think I'm going to have to do that relatively soon. Wow, that would look really good in my collection.
I will not be picking that up.
Oh, come on now.
But if Waxworks Records ever puts out a Curtains soundtrack, maybe I'll buy it on vinyl. That
would be really cool. And another thing, too, you and I talked a little bit off air about these new reaction figures. These are like these figures are basically to make them look, they look like they came from like the early 80s. And they're basically doing all the movie characters that they never made action figures for. And I would vote for the Curtains killer, the old hag killer, I think she would make a very good action figure. And if they ever do that, I would pick that up for sure.
All right, so those of you that work for Reaction Toys, take note.
Absolutely. And do the My Bloody Valentine killer too, Harry Warden. That'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool. That one would be cool.
Yes, it would.
The other one, maybe.
Oh, come on, you get it.
No, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with my toys that I already have.
Are they all in bins like mine?
I don't have that many, but I have all these ones that I had at my desk at work, and then I brought them home when I got sick of moving all my shit from desk to desk to desk.
No.
So they're just like in a bag right now.
Oh, okay. Well, these are very good from what I've heard. I don't have a desk, but they make very good conversation pieces.
Yeah.
So
probably,
put some of these around your desk, and everybody will come up to you and say, "Hey, I never knew they made a Jason Voorhees action figure."
Yeah, because I guarantee if I put the stupid curtains killer on my desk, I had to explain what the hell that thing was every goddamn day.
Yes, you would.
What the hell is that?
I hear. You know what I hear? I'm also, just to let you all know out there in podcast land, I'm a mask collector too. I collect horror movie masks, and apparently there is a replica of this Curtains old hag mask somewhere out there. I don't think I will buy it though at this point, but maybe someday. It's kind of low on my priority list for stupid crap that I don't need.
We all need a stupid crap I don't need list.
Oh man, you should see the new Trick or Treat catalog for 2015. They actually, sorry for going off on a tangent here, but this is the company that finally got the Michael Myers license. So we're getting all these really cool Michael Myers masks so they're basically just going hog wild and releasing everything. So they're making the official mask of Ben Tramer from Halloween 2, and that is the Michael Myers mask with the white hair of the kid who's wearing it, who gets hit by the car and dies. I don't know if you remember that scene.
Yeah, he gets pinned between the car and the ambulance.
Yep. So now there's that mask, and it's like, I need a Ben Tramer mask now, but it's going to be like $60, and that's going to be hard to give up the money or let go of $60 for that. But I got a few months to worry about it.
Oh yeah, and one last thing too before we let everybody go tonight. Well, you could always turn us off, I guess, if you really wanted to. I just wanted to plug something real quick. Really cool website that I believe Mark actually turned me on to it. Website called terrortrap.com. When I was doing the research on curtains, I came across that site. They actually have, I think it's from sometime last year, but right on like the main page, there's an interview with Samantha Egger, who was in Curtains, who we talked about earlier. So you guys should check that out. They got a bunch of cool stuff out there. Cool website. Again, it's terrortrap.com. Little shameless plug. Actually, I think I'm going to send them an email later about seeing if I can get a link up on their site. So we'll see what, you plug them. Maybe they'll plug you. I don't know. All right, everybody. Thanks again. Talk to you guys next month. Remember to send in email with your vote for Friday the 13th or My Bloody Valentine. Thanks again, everybody.